Yeah, the Giants was literally minding a damn business. The coaches was minding their damn business. All the veterans was minding their business. Abdul Carter was minding his business. Jameis Winston was minding his business. Then here comes Donald Trump. And now everybody in New York got to answer questions. Jackson Dart, you ain't even took a regular season snap yet. And somehow the whole locker room got to do media damage control for you? Y'all, let's talk about it. Listen, Jackson Dart just started a whole lot of drama. But before we get started, let me say this. This is not about Jackson Dart supporting Donald Trump because he can support whoever he want to support. I don't think the world too much care. I mean, because you got black people that support Trump, you got Hispanic people, so a lot of different people who secretly support Trump. So I don't think anybody care about that. This ain't about telling people who to vote for, who to support, or anything like that, right? That's not what I'm trying to discuss with you guys right now. What I'm trying to discuss is what happens after the cameras show up. Now that's what is important because I think Jackson Dart got it twisted. This is not college football. So college football and the NFL are two different worlds, right? In college, you can stay in your bubble. In the NFL, your teammates come from everywhere. Black, white, Muslim, Christian, rich, poor, urban, rural, everybody. And now, because one political moment, the media got everybody talking. So the first interview I want to show you guys. Hold on. I always get confused. Oh, there we go. Listen, y'all. Let me get this queued up. The first interview I want to talk about is Abdul Carter's because he did respond. Um, he did respond back to all the noise, right? And now Abdul Carter is one of the first people that started mentioning Abdul Carter. And I'm gonna tell you guys, now let's be real. We all know that a text can be read differently than, you know, let's say um, a phone call. Sometimes, I've even sent out texts that probably sound like I was mad, but I wasn't. And let's be honest, the media loves potential conflict. They love it. So now I've even heard of reporters blaming Abdul Carter because he said something. So let's go ahead and listen to what Abdul have to say after being blamed for Jackson Dart introducing Trump for some reason. He got blamed. This is how I'm not even gonna get into that. But let's listen to what Abdul got to say.
Jackson said he was sorry for doing it.
No, I don't want him to say he's sorry. Like, stand on what you believe in, but it can't be a problem when I stand on what I believe in. And that's all that matters to me. Just as long as we have that understanding, it's all good.
And Jackson
And that's that. That's that. Stand on what you believe in. And then I believe he said something else.
So first off, I want to say that some things are bigger than football, and this is one of those things. Jackson is one of our leaders. He's the face of our franchise. He not only represents himself and what he does, but he represents all of us. And that goes for anybody who wears a Giants uniform. But if he chooses to align himself with a man like President Trump, it's my responsibility, based on what I believe and what I stand on, to not only show my teammates that I'm against that, but to show the world. And that doesn't mean that we have to spread hate. It doesn't mean that me and Jaxson hate each other or we have beef. I sit next to Jaxson every day, every team meeting. We close, we talk. We just, as long as we make sure we got the same goal as a team and our goals align, which they do, and I feel like that's all that matters. So I just want to move past this, and yeah, that's it.
So, how y'all feel? How y'all feel now? The media, how do y'all feel now? As long as you stand on what you believe in, as long as you respect what I believe in, I don't have no problems. We can disagree on the issue. He still basically told Jaxson Dart, I don't roll with Trump like that.
Appreciate y'all being here. I understand that there's probably going to be questions that involve.
And let me reiterate that these people was minding their own business in OTAs, getting in shape, learning the playbook, minding their business. Abdul, all the New York Giants. So this is a lesson for Jaxson Dart, I think, because like I said, it's not really about him supporting Trump. It's not about that. It's about you being a leader and you being conscious of who you represent. That's it. And don't get mad when I represent who I want to represent. Jaxson Dart. Let's finish. Listen to what Jaxson, who created all this New York mess, got to say.
Off the field topics, and for that, I have a statement, and I hope I can answer as many of those questions that y'all may have. And I ask that can talk about football after that, and I hope that we can understand and respect that from each other. Obviously this was a unique opportunity. Being asked and given the opportunity to introduce the President of the United States. My thinking was pretty simple, in the fact of I've always loved this country. I have extended family members who have fought in wars. I have 2 uncles. Appreciate y'all being here. I understand have retired from the Air Force Academy and served themselves. And I even have a great grandfather who served as Secretary of Treasury at some point. So the president position has always been a position that I've well respected, regardless of political affiliation, regardless of political party. And my intentions were just that. I also understand in this world, politics can be a sensitive matter, a sensitive topic. I also understand that I am the quarterback of the New York Giants, and that involves a lot of responsibility. It's under a limelight, under a microscope, and there's a lot that comes with that. And it's been something that I've embraced. I've loved being here. I've loved the city of New York. I love the city of New Jersey, the people that I've met here who have retired from the Air Force. It's just been a really amazing experience, and there's not another place that I'd rather be. Most importantly, the people in this organization, my teammates, the staff, coaches, everybody that has a hand, Jose, you name it. I've loved making relationships with them and growing connections. And that's the kind of person that I am. I'm a connector. I love making relationships with people. I love hearing everybody's stories and being somebody who people can rely on to be there for them. And most importantly, I can honestly say that I love every single one of my brothers, my teammates on this team, regardless of politics, regardless of religious beliefs, regardless of anything that may be different between us. Like, I love them. It's just been a really amazing experience, and they know exactly what kind of person that I am, who comes into the facility every day, and who lays, I lay my body on the line for my guys each and every week. And it's from the connections that we build, the love that we have for each other. And I've been somebody who's always respected, the different perspectives that people may have, the backgrounds that they come from. I understand that, we have such a cool opportunity as people, to be in a locker room where it's a melting pot of people from everywhere, and we get to be together. I think that the connections that we build are special because, we're able to have vulnerable conversations. We're able to learn from each other, to support each other, irrespective of the color of our skin. And, we have a real brotherhood. And they know exactly what kind of person that I am. We've had a lot of honest conversations with each other as a team. And I like to keep those things private between me and my teammates, and just everything that's been said. But I love these guys, and going forward, I can't wait for what more we have to grow. The culture of this team, our brotherhood, and obviously we understand the biggest goal is to be the best team that we can be, to put ourselves in the best position to succeed, to chase a championship, to be the best players for Coach Harbs and all the coaches here. And, that's our focus going forward each and every day. And can't wait to continue to do that. Appreciate you guys.
I think this is awesome. I mean, they got to learn. Jaxson had to learn. But this is what I also love. Because we know the reporters tried to turn his back on Abdul Carter. Now looking at his reactions, looking at his comments, trying to create a headline. And Abdul probably woke up thinking about football and not politics, and he probably sent that tweet just talking smack. Who knows, how he wrote the text, but we read it differently, right? But that's the NFL, and I think Jaxson is starting to see that. Like I think Jaxson learned his lesson, and this is a younger generation. Their ways of how they view racism and things like that is different from how we view it. So I truly believe this is a learning experience for Jaxson, and sometimes you gotta do stuff to grow. So let's listen to what the coach had said, because like I told y'all, Jaxson then pulled everybody out of the damn locker room, and now they gotta talk. Because think about it, if Jaxson would have never did this, then they would have never had to go in front of the media. And I don't know if you guys been paying attention, but they don't like talking to the media, especially for something like this. So let's listen to what the coach, because remember, you wouldn't have heard from the coach yet either. So Jaxson is doing he's introducing New York Giants pretty early in the season. So I know, if anything, they more pissed off about that than him introducing Trump. So let's listen to, what Harbaugh had to say. And let me tell y'all something again, because I'm an athlete, an ex-athlete. Coaches hate distractions. They hate them. So you got to understand that Jaxson learned his lesson. Let's go ahead and listen to what Coach Harbaugh had to say.
It was a great opportunity. It was really a good opportunity for us as a football team to have these kind of conversations around a real life incident. It's something that comes up. It's one thing to talk about it in theory. This is how we want to handle this, that, or the other, and we do. But when you have something that happens that's like real, because things are going to happen that are real, you get a chance to talk about them practically. And that was the best part about it. We had a chance to talk to the guys a little bit through the weekend. Then we got in first thing Tuesday, because that was our first chance back together. We didn't want to let it sit. The veterans came in, and we had a really good conversation with those guys. We went into a team meeting, and really, the important thing to understand is that, what we are is a collection of all of us together. And so we need to understand really how we want to approach these things going forward. And you don't want to stand up there and just try to dictate some terms, as a coach. It was a great opportunity. You want to find out what the players think, how the coaches and players feel about it, and really mainly the players, because as I told them, it's your team, and what you want the focus to be on and what you want to be about going forward and the way we're going to treat one another going forward. Is it going to be centered around respect and those kind of things? That's really up to you guys as a team. And you guys need to decide, and then let's talk about it and let's decide what we're going to do. And we had a good little meeting. It wasn't real long, but it was to the point. And the players established amongst themselves how they wanted to approach these kind of things. They're part of the dialogue in our society, and they did a great job of it. I was proud of them. I was impressed by them. Couldn't have asked for anything better. And so we're in a good place now, and we're moving forward.
And that's amazing. Like I said, sometimes you got to go over these, blocks in life. And maybe this is one for Jaxson. Like I said, coaches hate distraction, because he want to be talking about blocking assignments. He want to be discussing the playbook. Coach want to be discussing wins. He don't want to be talking about no dang on politics. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm blaming Trump, because I think he fanned out. And I think Trump is infatuated with Jaxson, probably want him to be his son or something, because I know Trump would love to have an athlete son. But yeah, but now Harbaugh had to come and answer questions, redirect questions, manage questions, all because a story got bigger than football. But here's the part that is cracking me up, y'all. And everybody knows Jameis Winston. Now, when you have to bring out the OG, this is the part that just tickles me. Because what is Jameis talking about? Like, you didn't brought Jameis out to talk, Jaxson. Just like messing up in school and your mama at work and your uncle got to come to the school. And when your uncle get there, this is what he said. You know what I'm saying?
I think it reflects what togetherness looks like, in terms of, we don't have to agree, we don't have to respect or even understand people's perspective, but I think we should support their perspective because that's what they believe in, right? So I think these two young guys being resilient and showing that uncomfortable situations and coming to not a compromise, but coming to a position of strength, of authority, of the impact that they.
Let me tell y'all, Jaxson ain't finna get in trouble no more if you gotta have Uncle Jameis coming to the podium to speak. Because like I said, you get in trouble in school and your uncle gotta come up to the school, you're gonna be embarrassed. Go ahead and finish embarrassing Jameis.
They have, that we have as athletes with this platform to the world, is so good for them. I think it reflects.
Let's keep going. Let's see if we can find another Jameis speech because we love Jameis.
I'm about to show you how you turn uncomfortable into a growing moment. I'm from a city, Birmingham, Alabama, where they blew up a church with 4 little girls, and their parents and family had to go around picking up their limbs in the Deep South. Picking up their limbs, 4 little girls. I'm from a city where a little 9-year-old girl who decided to march got put in jail for volunteering her right of free speech, for standing on what she believes in. That's history. And I believe history repeats itself. But I also believe in respecting authority, respecting treating the man and the woman as I would like to be treated. That is how uncomfortable situations and uncomfortable times help unify people, because you know them, you realize from them, and you grow from them. Right now, I haven't been a part of any openly traumatizing things like that happen, not 250 years ago when this country came into existence, but try about 80 years ago. We got people that still live during that time. Those little girls will still be living right now. That 9-year-old girl that got sprayed with hoses and you put dogs on it and put her in jail, she's still living right now. It's a little children's book. I read this book about this 9-year-old marcher to my kids. That's why educating our youth and informing them of our history is so important. A lot of people try to push it past. You're like, oh my gosh, like that's behind us. No, guys, we living in it right now. We got a blonde hair, blue eyed white kid and a black Muslim religion black kid who are coming together and showing the world that we can come together. We can happen. We don't have to see everything. Everything doesn't have to be viewed in this perfect little snow globe, and everything doesn't have to be perfect. I'm about to show you how.
See what, Jaxson Dart? You didn't brought James Winston out. That man was on the field throwing football, working. Now you got to come and do a sermon to, little blonde hair, blue eyed Jaxson Dart and little black little boy Abdul, the Muslim. This is what y'all done. Y'all done woken up Jameis. Y'all done woken up the New York Giants. They do not want to be talking to the press, but they got to now. But thank God that Jaxson got Jameis on his team. And that's one thing about Jameis. You can ask that man what time it is, and he gonna give you a motivational speech. Because it could have went a different way. Just imagine if he had an asshole as a vet. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, Jameis don't want to be up there answering questions. He'd rather deliver sermons, and hopefully Trump hears this, because I'm blaming this on Trump. Trump, get it together. Go adopt you a son who's an athlete or something. I don't know. But stop interfering with these young players. And I'm sure Trump is egotistical enough to know the outcome of what probably was going to happen. So now Jameis, as the vet that he is, and I'm giving all praise to Jameis, trying to bring everybody together in the locker room. And like I said, this could have affected the locker room, but like I said, you got black people in the locker room who support Trump. Don't get it twisted. You probably got silent supporters in there. But it's good to see that this didn't shake them. And now they're talking brotherhood, talking team and unity. Honestly, that's probably exactly what veterans are supposed to do. So it's great to see them, stepping up, because at the end of the day, the locker room got to function. And I'm going to tell you something else. Listening to the arena confirm that what we think goes on in the locker room is not even what actually goes on in the locker room. You would probably think that the locker room is tight or whatever, or stuffy, but it's not. The locker room gonna function, and like you heard the coach, they put it back on the players. Let's see what the players think. Now, here's where black culture is lit. Got to jump in though, because can we still though? I still got to say it. I have to say this for us. Can we please stop inviting everybody to the cookout because they know how to do our dances? That's all. That's my message, and I'm serious. Every time a white person do the electric slide or the Dougie or sing one rap song, folks immediately scream, "He's invited." No, slow down. Culture ain't one dance. Culture ain't one playlist. Culture ain't one viral moment. Culture is deeper than that. And situations like this I got to remind y'all real quick, right? So to end this, no, I'm not ending it yet. I want to go back to Trump. Yeah, I want to go back to Trump because this is all his fault. I'm blaming him with the bullshit. Because like I said, this man knew what he was doing. No one in New York likes him. So what I'm hearing. So It seemed kind of strange that he would do this. And this is the part that nobody's talking about, especially these white liberal media people who blame Abdul for this. The real story, you know what? I'm not going to give Trump any credit for this, even though he should be blamed for interfering with athletes. But I think the real story here is Jackson Dart learning what comes with visibility, right? Because once you become a public figure, and I can imagine that he probably didn't even realize that he's bigger than football or bigger than the programs in a way. Because once you become a public figure, people react, people form opinions, people ask questions, and people watch everything. And whether that's fair or unfair, that's reality of the situation. So, you know what? I am going to stick to my theory. I do think Trump want to adopt Jackson Dart. I think he want to adopt Jackson because every time I open social media, this man they're talking about. And like I said, it's a bigger conversation to this, and maybe I'm not making sense. I don't know. But now, do I think the Giants locker room is falling apart now? No, I don't. Do I think grown men can work together with different opinions? Absolutely. Let me tell you how I came up with this opinion. But do I think this situation shows how fast sports and politics collide? Yes. And this is not the first time we saw this happen, because one moment can become a headline. And one story becomes a story, and you know how that goes. But and I don't even know if you're going to be able to hear this. Maybe I can do it like this. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it like this. Hold on, y'all. Because I want you to hear this. Because I thought something like this would damage the locker room as well. But I was wrong, y'all. I was wrong. And like I said, a lot of people fail to listen to the experts. When I say experts, I'm talking about the people who play the sport, people who've been in the locker room, right? So, hold on. So let's go ahead. Look at your girl moving through the thing. So let's go ahead and listen to what an athlete have to say about the locker room, right?
In our locker room, we had my dog Derek Wolf. He loved Trump. What did he not? He was adamant about it. He loved Trump. It's so many different upbringings, so many different backgrounds in the league. Man, you got dudes from the hood, from the suburbs, from the country, from the city. You got white dudes who grew up with black dudes. They act black a little bit. You got black dudes who grew up with white dudes. They act white a little bit. You gonna have different political views. You gonna have different religious views. I don't think it impact the locker room. They say you're not supposed to talk about like politics. Man, f that. The locker room talk about everything. And you're gonna have guys who believe something you don't believe. And y'all gonna talk about it. It probably turn to jokes. We in our locker room, we had my dog Derek Wolf. He loved Trump. What did he not?
There you have it, y'all. Now that's coming from a player in the NFL who actually been in the locker room with another white player who liked the Trump. Don't affect the locker room. They talk about it like big boys. And it is what it is, y'all. We can't make something out of nothing. And for those white media people who are blaming Abdul, shame on you. Shame on you for not allowing Jackson to take accountability. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, that man is grown. It's okay if he speak for himself. He don't need y'all to speak for him. He okay. You don't have to go and blame Abdul for what Jackson did. Like, that's how crazy y'all are in the media. And that's why white fragility is so deep in this country. But anyway, like I said, I think Jackson learned his lesson. And I think he for sure understands now that one moment can become a headline for days. So Jackson, now you know how Shador feels. Haha. One headline becomes story. Now you see how Shador feels, what he's going through. And suddenly the entire organization have to answer your questions for you. So thank God. You should be thanking God you got Jameis Winston, Jackson. You should take him out to dinner. You should go buy him something because he made it better for you. And Akeem made it better for you. So you should reach out to these black players because they basically got your back. So, like I said, if you like black culture conversations, come come with a perspective, holler at your girl. Oops. It's Saturday. I'm just getting started. I'm gonna push out a couple of videos today if I can get past this computer freezing. Yeah. I'm so proud of Jackson for taking accountability and not running from it. Hold on. Make sure you subscribe to the Black Playbook. Make sure you subscribe to Primetime 3.0. Yes, Lord. See my new background? Y'all, I'm getting it together. I'm getting it together. And as always, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, I want to hear from y'all. Did the media overreact? Yep, they did. I shouldn't even ask y'all that because what that white man did, and I'm not going to play the clip. You can go find it. He basically blamed Abdul. I mean, it's crazy. Or is this exactly what happens when politics enters sports? And I think that's the answer. This is what happens. It could have been Barack Obama. I think the same thing would have happened if Abdul would have did the same thing. But I think the main component is that we gotta stop inviting people to the cookout so fast. Jaxson Dart shouldn't have been invited to the cookout. And the younger generation, we blaming y'all. So we blaming Trump, we blaming Gen Z. Y'all gotta get it together. Y'all gotta stop inviting people to our cookout. Stop. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And remember, this is Black Cultures Lit TV, where we keep it black, baby. We black over here, loud and unapologetically real. You heard me? This your girl Bella, and I'm out. Peace.